Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. It is July 7th, about 11:15 Central Time, my time. If you are tuning in and you have not subscribed to this young and growing channel, I implore you to please do that. The channel is up and coming when I hit 500 subs, since YouTube has changed it up. It's my first goal. Second goal is to reach 1,000. When I reach 1,000, this channel will grow exponentially. I want to reach 500 by week 1, September 10th, when we play the Giants. If we can reach 1,000 by then, even better, guys. That red subscribe button is a free investment on your part. I guarantee you this channel will become a diamond gem once I hit 1,000. I will be able to put it back into the show with a microphone, studio equipment, sound bites, a desktop just for this, with film and graphics, and a call-in line, especially during football season. So before and after games, y'all can call in, agree with me, disagree with me, or we can agree to disagree, or you can just vent or just put your point out there of what you thought, of the game, or what you think of the game that is, about to happen. And the call line will be for the all season too. I'm at around like 330 something right now. So if y'all get me to 500 and then to 1,000, I guarantee you that y'all will be reimbursed with excellent first class content. This seems to work for Mike Fisher. So I'm gonna try it out again, guys. On a count of 3, it's free. It doesn't cost you a dime, but it's a free investment on your part, guys. If we can hit that red subscribe button on 3, everybody, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, hit subscribe, boom. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. If we can hit that like button on 3, everybody, guys, like Mike Fisher says, it helps beat the algorithms, whatever. 1, 2, 3, like. If we can hit that like button, you're a real one, and I love you for it. I've got 3 things I'm hit on. First of all, between Blogging the Boys and Mike Fisher, the trade candidates that they have the list is kind of funny in a way. My thoughts on the new kicker that we brought on to compete for the starting job. And the title of this video is "There's a Difference Between Perception and Reality." One last thing before I jump into this. I'm seeing other content creators, the ones not as big as like Law, who has like 110,000 subscribers, 110,000 subscribers and whatnot. I'm seeing like the smaller content creators just have a Cash App name underneath the screen because they can edit. I'm not editing yet because I don't have a computer for this. It's just me and my phone. So I wrote this backwards. My goal is to get to Oxnard first. I used to go to Wichita Falls every year when we had it here in Texas. Haven't been to training camp since it's been Oxnard. If I can get there later this month, that would be awesome. If anybody donates to the channel, let me know in the chat that you did, and I will keep a document of it. Come week 18 will be the cutoff line, and whoever donated the most will get a pair of playoff tickets, maximum 3 persons. They won't be shabby tickets either. They'll be 50-yard line, lower deck. The second place person who donated the second most will get 2 jerseys of their choice, any, for away, home, alternate, any player, or customized. And third place will get a 1990 Rookie of the Year Emmitt Smith rookie card. Might be signed by then. Now, if the donations are really good during the season, prizes 2 and 3 might be better. But for now, that's what they are. But the number 1 prize will be playoff tickets, maximum 3 persons. Hopefully, we get the 1 seed, and it'll be a divisional round home playoff game that I will send you to. It's the money sign CM, lowercase cm, 65466. Pretty easy to remember, guys. Now I'm gonna just jump into this. Blogging the Boys and Mike Fisher put up 10 good trade candidates that we could wheel and deal right now. None of them really for more than a 5th. Only one would probably warrant a 5th. The rest would warrant a 6th, 7th, or maybe not even that. Number 1 they have on there is Chauncey Golston. Just like Tom Downey said, I give him a 75% chance of being a roster lock. He would probably be able to get a 5th rounder for him. being that he can play and tackle. He doesn't get a lot of stats. He's more of the run stuffing type defensive end tackle. But he's very valuable. He's not going anywhere. I don't even know why they put him, on the list. Number 2, Neville Gallimore. He's very tradable. Now, he might be a defensive tackle, 3-tech, that if you trade him to a different team, a different atmosphere, a different system, maybe he flourishes. Maybe he becomes who we thought he could be somewhere else. For him, we'd be lucky to get a 7th-round pick. His cap hits $2.7 million. So if we cut him or trade him, there's $2.7 million extra that we have in cap room. Now, his chances of making a roster, 50-50. If one of these young defensive tackles really step up and push him out of the way, I think they put him on the trade block. If nobody bites, then they, whenever it's time to chop down the roster, he will get chopped. Number 3, Jordan Lewis, who you might be able to get a 6th-round pick for. His Liz Frank injury, it's a bad injury. He might start the season on the PUP list. And if he does that, you really can't trade an injured person. You have to be off the PUP list for that to happen. And whenever Jordan Lewis said that he feels good on his new foot, a little concerning. He counts $4.7 million against the Caps last year of his contract with us. So if he plays out the season with us, then we could just let him walk in free agency. There's no dead money there where his contract's played in full. If he can come back by week 6, 100%, I would say keep him. I wouldn't trade him unless you're going to get a good offensive line piece for him. But if not, I would keep him for depth. Depth is the name of the game. The Super Bowl teams that we had depth at the wazoo. Our starting 3 corners, as you know, is Gilmore, Diggs, and Bland. If our corner number 4 can be Jordan Lewis, that's beautiful. Because Jordan Lewis, like I said, is no pushover. And Eric Scott Jr. probably CB number 5. So when teams run a 5-wide set, whenever they're behind, if they're down 21 and they're trying to make a comeback, they're running 5, 4 wide. We could play man coverage with the corners that we have because they're all good. I mean, Jordan Lewis was a top 3 corner until he got hurt last year, and then DeRon Bland, a Will McClay draft special with the help of Dan Quinn. I know every defensive player that gets drafted since 2021, Dan Quinn has had input on. We keep him. I wouldn't trade him. If we're going to trade Jordan Lewis this season, I'd want at least a 3rd-round pick or a offensive line piece that could be great depth, just like he is. Great depth at corner, great depth for, at guard or something like that. Number 4, Kelvin Joseph. You'd be lucky to get a 7th-round pick for him. Right now, he's cornerback/safety. They're thinking he might be good at free safety. I think the kid's chance is come and gone. When he was drafted to the NFL, he took the money from his rookie contract, a lot of it, and tried to put it into his rap skills. Boss Man Fat, that's his rap name. Like James Slater said in 2021, if Kelvin Joseph put half the effort into his football craft as he does his rap career, he might actually be something. That was like verbatim, similar to what she said. If he put half the effort into the field as he does into the studio, he might actually be something. And then that following offseason, he's like he didn't get caught up in the murder rap because he wants to, be still hood and gangster. You're in the NFL. You made it in the NFL. You're a 2nd-round draft pick. That is a top draft pick. Get that 2nd bag. You played well enough to get that 2nd bag. You get paid. You're set for life. Don't be an idiot and if you want to be a rapper, then just go be a rapper. Hell with playing football. Boss Man Fat overtook Kelvin Joseph, and that part of him dominated that person and basically ruined his career. So his best shot at making money after he probably doesn't make the roster this season is to maybe, hopefully, cut an album. You know, who knows? I wish the best for the young man, but I hope he gets his head straight because his head is backwards. I know now, since after the murder rap, you know, he's been trying to walk straight and narrow because he's been scared straight. But it seems like it's a little bit too late. I mean, we had no cornerback 2 last season. We were bringing in everybody and the mama and the foster mamas in to try to play cornerback number 2, and he could not deliver. He could not deliver, and that is very alarming for a second-round pick. Number 5 is tight end number 4, Sean McEwen, who in theory could be expendable. You would get a 7th-round pick for him. Maybe teams would probably just wait for you to cut him if they think you don't want him. But I think we're going to have a lot of 4 tight end sets. I think we have, in our playbook, I think we have set. I think McEwen can play a decent role. I know he had 2 catches last season, not much. But like we said, depth's the name of the game. If Hendershot or, God forsake, Ferguson goes down, McEwen, you know, who knows this offense pretty good, been with the team for a few years now, I would say keep him. Chuma Adoga is number 6, who could basically play every position on the offensive line. He'd be a 7th-round pick also. If you were to trade, you'd probably get a 7th for him. I don't think he goes anywhere unless we bring in a veteran, you know, guard or something. His contract has zeroed a little guaranteed money. Number 7 is Matt Forniak, offensive guard / center. He's about 95% roster lock. He ain't going nowhere. I don't know why he's on there. Number 8, Will Greer, with the new league rules that you can dress a 3rd quarterback every game and it would not count against your 53-man roster. He ain't going nowhere. He's quarterback number 3. If, God forbid, that go down, then Rush go down, Will Greer is not a bad quarterback 3. And what would you get for him anyway? Maybe a 7th-round pick, maybe. He's basically a 80% roster lock. And then number 9, Cooper Rush. He'd be worth a 5th-round pick. I would say a 3rd-round pick, personally. He's a 99% roster lock. He ain't going nowhere. 1 second. Go to bed. Go to bed. If I have to warn you again, you do not want to know what happens. Come on, guys. 5-year-old boy, 7-year-old girl. The boy is the one that gets in trouble the most. Cooper Rush isn't going anywhere. I don't know why they say he's a trade candidate. And then number 10, Rico Dowdle. He probably wouldn't even be worth the 7th-round pick in the trade. He's had his chances. He's just injury prone. If he can't make it without getting injured to the regular season, how do you expect him to play a regular season? I mean, he's practice squad, career practice squad player at best. Even though the running back room is wide open, I'd take Malik Davis over him. With my eyes closed, I'd even take Ronald Jones over him. That's what I think about Rico Dowdle. Like the guy personally, but as far as a football player, he just he's not NFL caliber. So we signed Brandon Aubrey from the USFL. That sound familiar? Bones Fossil, when asked about, kicker, he said, "We will search all the ends of the earth." Apparently, they searched back to the USFL. Former soccer player. I believe he won an MLS title, if I'm not mistaken. Last 2 years after soccer, he's been kicking in the USFL. Now, I heard about Luis Aguilar recently from the USFL. Cowboys are looking at. And when I heard that we signed a kicker from the USFL, I assumed it was him. But it's this guy, Brandon Aubrey, who's been coached by the one and only Chris Boniel, Cowboys decorated kicker in the 90s. Remember, in 95, we beat Green Bay 21-0. We didn't score a touchdown, but we had 7 Chris Boniel field goals to win the game. He was his coach last year. And his stats last year in the USFL was 18 of 22. Extra points, 22 of 24. His long was a 49. He scored a total of 76 points. Long of 49. I mean, that doesn't mean that you can't make a 55, 56-yarder, 60-yarder. Luis Aguilar, the one that I was hearing about. Last season, he was 8 of 10. His long was 49. Extra points, he was 19 of 19. The year before that, he was 9 of 17. Extra points, 32 of 33. In 2021, he had that game where he was 8 for 8. Had the walk-off 55-yard game winner, and his long of 57 in 2021. So we know Aguilar can hit him from long distance, but this kid, Brandon Aubrey, is kind of following in the same footsteps as like Dan Bailey. Let him compete. Let him get out there and get after it. Now, what I'm hearing is that the Cowboys, from the front office, from Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Will McClay, all the way down to Bones Fossil, are all out on Brett Maher. I personally don't understand that. I know missing 4 or 5 extra points in a row is unacceptable. That was one freak-out game. He was a good kicker last season. He was better last season than our kicker was in 21, the ex-Rams kicker, Greg the Leg Zerline. And Brett Maher, he got, in 2018, his Achilles heel was he couldn't hit the ones, in the 30s, struggled in the 40s, but in the 50s and 60s, he was money. He's made 4 60-plus yard field goals. I was there to witness the third one against Philly late in the season in 2018. He actually made 3 60-plus yard field goals in one season. Last year, he made 1 60-yarder, but he had to make it twice in a row. Brett Maher was excellent last year. Excellent. And he got really, really good at making those shorter kicks, which was his Achilles heel. He had a freak-out game in Tampa. The following week against San Francisco, the first extra point gets blocked. Okay, they got good special teams. They got a good front. Understandable. And then his next 2 field goal attempts, he makes. So it's not like he was still scarred from the game before and couldn't make a 36, 40-yard field goal. He made his last 2 attempts. Let Maher come out and compete. Because Robbie Gould and Mason Crosby, at their age, their leg power is shot. Their percentage of kicking yards, field goal 50 yards or longer, are not good. If you got a 57-yarder to win the game and you got Robbie Gould and Mason Crosby as your kicker, you're not feeling too good about that. Ryan Suckup has been struggling the last few years. Brett Maher season last year was way better than Ryan Suckup's was. If Nick Folk, because the Patriots got a kicker in the draft, if Nick Folk gets released, maybe he could be, the one. I think it's going to come down between Brandon Aubrey, because Cowboys think really highly of this kid. Brandon Aubrey, and I hope Brett Maher. Even though they're all out on him, why not let him come compete? What could hurt? I mean, don't let him go to the Giants or to Washington or to Philly. I mean, I know they got Jake Elliott, but hell, Philly might, say, hey, we need a guy that can make one from 60, 65. Let's just sign Maher and fill a roster spot with that. We shall see. Hopefully this kid, Brandon Aubrey, has the leg to hit them long ones. And hopefully he is the next Dan Bailey, who is statistically the best kicker in franchise history. We shall see in training camp. Now, I said the title of this video was Difference in Perception and Reality. Since we became a team, Dallas Texans become the Dallas Cowboys. In the 70s, we win 2 Super Bowls. We were that close to being the team of the 70s, losing 2 against Pittsburgh. If we don't lose those 2 against Pittsburgh, we win 2. We win 4, and they win 2. We're the team of the 70s. We lose 2 against Pittsburgh. We go to 4 Super Bowls in the 70s. We win 2 of them, 72 and 77. The older Cowboy fans know this very well. And older Cowboy fans, they got to witness the Super Bowls between Cowboys and Pittsburgh in the 70s. Y'all must have been on the edge of y'all's seats, man, because watching the replays of those Super Bowls, man, seeing Jackie Slater miss that wide open touchdown catch in the end zone, the ball hits him right in the numbers and just falls right down to the ground. Oh my gosh, he must have been sick. Everybody must have been sick. And it's funny because in 95, I was only 9, and when we were playing Pittsburgh in Super Bowl 30, and was it James Brown asked Terry Bradshaw if he was nervous? I wonder why he asked him that, because I didn't know a lot of football history at that time. And it was because Terry Bradshaw beat us twice in the 70s, and then they were playing again in 1995 for the 3rd time. So we established our team as America's team in the 70s. Then in the 80s, competitive early in the 80s and late 80s, we start to fall apart, rebuilding mode. Jerry Jones comes in, fires Tom Landry's first moves, the most hated guy in Dallas. And then 89, we take Troy Aikman as number 1 overall pick. Tom Landry took Michael Irvin as a number 1 overall pick in 88. So 88, Irvin is number 1. 89, Troy is number 1. 1990, Emmett is number 1. The triplets. 3 years, 3 picks, wide receiver, quarterback, running back. And if any of y'all remember Emmitt Smith, after being picked by us in the 1st round, showing up at the airport in that yellow polka dot outfit, man, do styles change. And in 1989, 1-15, 1990, we were competitive. 91, we make the playoffs, have a little quarterback controversy. We win the 1st round. We go to Detroit and just get trounced. And then Jimmy Johnson officially makes Troy Aikman his quarterback after Troy wanted to be traded because he didn't get to play in the 91 playoffs like he thought he should have because he was healthy and back from injury. And then in 92, we surprise everybody. We get to the championship game, go to Candlestick. We're not expected to win. It's too soon for us. And we do. And we play Buffalo in the Rose Bowl with Pasadena, and we blow them out. Then is the beginning of the dynasty. The next season, we play the Niners again. We 13-3. We get the 1 seed. They come to our house. We beat them down. 38-21? Something like that. And I remember, cornerback Eric Davis for the Niners, who played for the Niners in the early 90s, saying in that championship game in 93, it wouldn't have mattered if we played 16 quarters. It would have just gotten worse and worse and worse. That's how good that Cowboys team was. The Niners just had no shot. Buffalo gave us a scare by, being up by 7 at halftime, 13-6. And then second half, we come out, run the ball effectively, play good defense. James Washington should have been the Super Bowl MVP of that Super Bowl 28. He had a scoop and score and 2 interceptions, all in the second half, I believe. But they give it to Emmett. Offensive player usually gets it. And Emmett did run it down their throats in that second half. I mean, breaking tackles from Bruce Smith, stuff like that. Bruce Smith, if y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all know what I'm talking about. Then the next season, it's the Cowboys and Niners again, 3 years in a row. They meet in the playoffs in the championship game, which we probably will see this season. Cowboys and Niners 3 years in a row in the postseason, just not championship game 3 years in a row. And go down 21-zip quick, make a valiant comeback. If Michael Irvin catches that ball where Prime puts his arm right in between Michael's hands, if Michael can somehow Des Bryant himself to jump up and just snatch it out of the air, we have a good shot at scoring on that drive and winning that ball game. But that pretty much shut us down, lose 38-28. And then in 95, we signed Prime to kind of seal the Super Bowl deal. A lot of people don't realize in the playoffs, we got lucky that Green Bay beat San Francisco in round 2. And then we got to play Green Bay in round 3 because we owned Green Bay then. San Francisco, who beat us in the 94 championship game, played us in the 95 regular season. Steve Young was hurt, and they still blow us out at our house. They kind of had our number. And I was very worried about playing them again in the championship game, even if we had home field advantage. And Green Bay beats them, and I was so happy because I knew if Green Bay was to beat them, that we would beat Green Bay. I knew we would. And we did. And we played Pittsburgh, as you all know. We went 27-17. They finally give the Super Bowl MVP to the rightful player, Larry Brown, whose 2 interceptions made the difference in the ball game, just like James Washington's 2 interceptions in Super Bowl 28 and a scoop and score made the difference in the ball game. There we're at the top of the mountain. 3 Super Bowls out of 4 years, almost won 4 of 4. Still arguably the best roster to ever be assembled. And since then, our expectations every year has been Super Bowl or bust. 96, we were expected to go and win the Super Bowl again. We finished 11-5, 10-6, 1 of the 2. Play Minnesota in round 1. We blow them out. We go to Carolina, that's their second year in existence, and we fall. And I couldn't believe it. I had never seen us lose in the playoffs, besides the 94 season. And I was like, Carolina, in their second year, we're going to show them who we are. And we had one more drive to tie the game up, and 4th and goal to go to get the first down, and we don't make it, and we go home. And then 97, we go 6-10, and ever since then, it's been Super Bowl or bust. Super Bowl or bust. And every year, everybody says that they're sick of all the Cowboys fans saying that this year is our year. Well, we don't really say that every year. In 98, we kind of thought that if we'd have drafted Randy Moss, we definitely would have made it. In 98, we were formidable. We were all right, pretty good, 10-6. Swept the East for the first time ever, and get upset by Arizona in the first round, 20-7. Who would have seen that coming? The 1999 team, which could have been a Super Bowl team, we start off hot, 3-0, score 100 points in the first 3 games, which was a lot in 99. In week 1, we come back 21 points down in the 4th quarter to beat Washington in overtime. We're 3-0. And Michael Irvin breaks his neck at the vet. That broke our team. It broke the spirit of the team. We finished 8-8. We barely make the playoffs, go to Minnesota, get bounced. And then in 2000, 2001, 2002, nobody thought the Cowboys were going to the Super Bowl. Not even Cowboy fans. We had no Super Bowl aspirations. We wanted to see what Quincy Carter was about. We wanted to see what Dave Campo was about. And for those 3 years, we saw what they were about. Then we hired the tuna. Finally bring in a head coach who runs his team kind of like Jimmy Johnson did. And Jerry Jones gave him his space. Jerry did go on the sidelines like he does, but he stayed away from Bill, if y'all notice that. Every time he goes on the sideline, he'll stand right next to McCarthy or Jason Garrett, Buddy Phillips. but he never got close to Bill. He knew Bill and how he was. And Bill's first season here, we lose against Atlanta in week 1. I remember that game, man. Avion Kaysen breaks a like 70-yard touchdown run. We go up 7-0. We lose, and I'm like, man, here we go again. And then we reel off 5 in a row. We're 5-1. Bill knew we weren't as good as our record was. Finished 10-6, one and done. The only teams that were Super Bowl, contenders, I say the 99 team was, the 2007 team was, the 2014 team was, the 2016 team was, barely, 2018 team was, and the last 2 seasons. Now, 2004 Super Bowl aspirations were kind of there. 2005, we weren't. Nobody was saying Cowboys Super Bowl. 06, nobody was saying that. 2007, nobody thought we'd start off the way we did and finish with #1 seed. So in 2008, yeah, we had big Super Bowl aspirations. We didn't make the playoffs. In 2009, no Terrell Owens. Nobody knew what was going to happen, and we made the playoffs, win a playoff game for the first time since, since 96.
Okay, thank you.
And in 2010, Wade Phillips happens. We have a horrible losing season. We almost hurt the whole year. And then the 3 seasons, just like 2000, 2002, 2011, and 2013, 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. No Super Bowl aspirations of those 3 seasons. Nobody thought the Cowboys had the roster to go to the big dance in 2011, 2012, and 2013. Nobody thought we had the roster to do it in 2014. But we surprised everybody and got as far as we did. And we were that call away from going to Seattle and beating them again in their own stadium. One second, please. Guys, I'm trying to shoot a video. You give it and you really need to get with it one. Oh, Lord help me. So, what I'm trying to get at is the difference between perception and reality. People perceive the Cowboys and Cowboy fans as a team, and a team that has fans that think we're going to win the Super Bowl every year. That's not the case. 2014, in 2007, we thought we would be contenders after the 2006 season. After we saw what Romo could do, we thought 2007 we had a pretty good shot, and we were right. 2007, that team, defense was average. Despite having 5 Pro Bowlers, it was an average defense. Offense was terrific. But week 18, Terrell Owens breaks his leg at Carolina. And then 5 weeks later, against the Giants, he's 50% maybe. He plays, but he's 50% maybe. He was our best top weapon. He was a killer that year, just like Randy Moss was. He was a giant killer also. In the 2 games we played against the Giants in 2007, he had 2 touchdowns in each game, both of them icing him. So not having our top receiver really, really hurt. We had Jason Witten, our wide receiver number 2, not Terrence Williams. There was always somebody like Terrence Williams as receiver number 2. And Terry Glenn did play that game, but he was all washed up. We had Jason Witten, had a good offensive line, but that Giants defensive front was for real. We had to throw the ball. We didn't have Terrell Owens. And the 99 team, like I said, had a good defense. Prime was still in its prime. Had Darren Woodson, George Teague, a good defensive front, good offensive line. Emmitt Smith could still run the ball very well. Aikman could still throw it very well. Michael Irvin, Rocket Ishmael, big physical receiver, small, speedy guy. Perfect combo with our tight ends. And then when Michael went down, that broke the spirit of the team. 2014, nobody saw us coming. The defense with DeMarcus Ware leaving that year to go to Denver, if he would have just left a year later, if we could have just kept him one more season, DeMarcus Ware leaving that year and Sean Lee tearing his ACL in the offseason really hurt. So our defense in 2014 was average. Our offense was amazing. Offensive line was as good as the 95 offensive line in Zach Martin's rookie year. Dez Bryant was at the peak of his career, as dominant as a receiver could be. Hauling in 16 touchdown passes, breaking Terrell Owens' record of 15 back in 07. And 4th and 1 from the 40, play action. As we all know, the NFL admitted they were wrong. They reversed the call. No catch. That team was a Super Bowl team. We get past Green Bay, we go to Seattle, the scene of the crime. We beat them down earlier that season. And we had the team, perfect team, to beat that specific Seahawks team. They cannot stop the run the way that we ran the ball. And if they load the box, Dez Bryant company was going to carve them up. And we still had Jason Witten, who was not old man Witten yet. In 2016, we weren't supposed to do anything once Roma went down. We surprised the league, went 11 in a row, get the number 1 seed. Aaron Rodgers, seasoned great quarterback, comes in. It's playoff football. Dak is a rookie. Zeke is a rookie. Like I said, in 2016, our defense was very average. We had a great fight, put up a great fight. But the more seasoned team, the veteran team, won. 2018, our defense was really good with Chris Richard and company. We had an anemic offense. We could run the ball well, but that was it. We trade for Cooper. Offense opens up. We finish the season 7-1. We get the 4 seed. We beat Seattle. We go to the Rams. We start off good, 7-3. But Sean McVay just outcoached Rod Marinelli and Chris Richard by just running the ball up the middle with Chris Anderson and Todd Gurley for 100 yards apiece. 2021 is the beginning of what we're building here. We had a good defense when 2020 was horrible defense. 2021 defense flip was amazing. Offense was number 1 in the NFL, and our special teams was very good. Bones Fossa for first year here. And we get stifled in the first round by the number 1 defense in San Francisco. Last season, we have a great defense, a good offense, and a good special teams. First playoff game, it's on the road. Whether Tampa Bay was, a really good team or not, the defense wasn't bad. Still had Brady at quarterback. They weren't a pushover. They weren't a good team, no. But it's still playoff football. It's still playoff Brady. And we go to Tampa and 31-14. I haven't seen us dominate a playoff game like that. And it's been a long time since that. 09 was the last time that we dominated a playoff game. And then we go to San Fran. It's a nip and tuck game. Brock Purdy's playing, like Tom Brady in his stand-in year. And our best weapon, our speed demon running back, scares everybody. Pollard goes down with a broken leg. After that, and Dak's 2 horrible interceptions, that did it for us. So back-to-back seasons, we get shut down by the better team with the number 1 overall defense. Prescott's first interception gave him a free field goal deep in our territory. Our defense held him 3 and out. But, unless they could block the field goal, they're getting 3 points. And then the second interception was inside their red zone. At least you get 3 points out of that. You don't throw it into double coverage. And why Kellen Moore called 5 wide on the 2nd and 2, we will never know. But he's not here anymore. And why Dak didn't just run up the middle where he had like a good 4-yard lane opposed to trying to thread the needle to CeeDee Lamb to try to It's like Dak was trying to show everybody that he could be an Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning, and that he could thread the needle from the pocket. He doesn't need to run. That he's that good of a quarterback. He's not. He has to take what is given to him. If he takes what's given to him, he can be really good. That means on that 2nd and 2, when he has a 4-yard lane open where he can just run up the middle, 5 wide, everybody's covered. Your number one is double covered with a all-pro linebacker being one of the guys. You take off up the middle. Yeah, at least get the first down minimum. Live to see another play in the red zone. And you possibly get inside the 10. You possibly get inside the 5. You possibly score as big as you are. But no, you want to sit there and you want to try to thread the needle for God knows who. I mean, who are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove? You want to win. That's why in 2001, 2003, 2004, that's why the Patriots won the Super Bowl. Those 3 out of 4 years. Because Tom Brady, at that young in his career, knew that he was not a needle threader. He knew he wasn't as good as Peyton Manning at that point in his career. He knew that he just had to do what he had to do and take what was given to him. So if that was Tom Brady in that situation, as slow as he is, he would have just scampered up the middle and slid for 3 yards, got the first down, lived to see another play, or he'd throw the ball away. One of the two. He would not have tried to thread the needle into double coverage to a CeeDee Lamb that was not open. So, Moore is gone because play calling like that just didn't make any sense. Now that we have Mike McCarthy as play caller, he knows how to call plays. I know he seems clueless some of the time. Sometimes we wonder about him, if he's just a spectator or if he is actually a coach. But him having Brian Shoddy next to him will be a big help. And I think they're using 70% of Kellen's offense. They're going to add 30% of some other stuff to make it a WCO type offense. And they're going to simplify it to where Dak is game manager. When Dak is game manager, I mean, we are excellent. 2016, he was game manager. 2018, he was game manager. 2021, he was he was game manager probably half the season. Week 1 against Tampa Bay, against the Patriots, you know, he had to throw us to victory. Almost did against Tampa. He did against the Patriots in overtime. Dak can throw us to victory in a game here or there, but he can't do it on a consistent basis. You know, as in Christmas Eve, he puts up 40, all through the air. Puts up 40 on the Eagles. Great performance. The following week against Tennessee, he plays like Tim Couch. So, if we have a game here or there where Dak has to step up and put up 40, he can do it, but we don't rely on that. And we're not going to rely on that this upcoming season. It's going to be a run-first offense. They better have a good plan for this offensive line because I like the starting 5, but you can't count on it. You can't count on Ty Smith. You just can't. Either Matt Willetsko winds up being a really good swing tackle, or we go and get a Dalton Reisner. He's sitting there. Get him before someone else does. Isaiah Wynn got snatched up by Miami last month. He could play left tackle or left guard. Better than both of the Connors. $2.3 million, 2.7 with incentives. Dalton Reisner is just as good. Get him at least for depth. Do that, I would think. And at running back, I know Dalvin Cook is the real new shiny toy, but you want a back that complements what you already have in the backfield. Tony Pollard will be 100% come week 1. He'll be 100% in training camp. He got injured last in the playoffs, yes, but his injury is healed 100%. His break was clean. It's a clean break. He didn't need surgery for that. He just needed a little ankle surgery. He's completely fine. He will be the Tony Pollard this year like it was last year. Deuce Vaughn will add a Darren Sproles type back to our backfield. We just need that power back. Now, that could be the UDFA Hunter Lupiki. It could be. I'd put my money on Elliott. Kiss and make up. Give him a few million and incentivize the rest of his contract. Let him come home because all of his friends are on the team. He's a leader on the team. Dax is BFF. This roster is deep and has depth in every position except offensive line and running back. The starters on the offensive line are very good. We just want depth. One signing will do that. Or if one of these young guys step up, Asim Richards, Chuma Adoga, Matt Farniak, who's going in his third year, Matt Willetsko, who was getting left guard reps. If one of those four guys steps up and looks really good, okay, all right then. Or if Malik Davis turns out to be a really good running back number 2, and Hunter Lupiki also as a power back / fullback, you know, who knows? But those are the only 2 positions that we don't have depth. Starters are really good, but depth. Everywhere else on this team, we have major depth. For us to say that we have a good shot at going to Vegas is not ridiculous. Not by any stretch of the imagination. This team, on paper, is the best team in the conference. We were 2 games behind Philly last year in the regular season. 2 games because we blew 2 games. That was our fault. We split games with Philly. Philly lost 5, 6 defensive starters. 4 of them blue chip players. One of them, interception leader, Chauncey Gunnar-Johnson. One of them, best defensive tackles in the league, Javon Hargrave, 11, 12 sack season. TJ Edwards, Kazir White, Marcus Epps. They lose the best running back, Miles Sanders. They replace him with DeAndre Swift, who is good, but not as good as Miles Sanders, and DeAndre Swift is injury prone. And they got Chris Carson from Seattle, who's, you know, he's just a guy. Lose Isaac Samalu, right guard, who was a very good right guard. Either Cam Jurgens or Steen, the third-round rookie, will fill in for him. They lost a lot. We didn't lose anybody except Dalton Schultz, you might say. We lost him. Everybody else we didn't want, we didn't need, we let walk. Anthony Brown, etc. We bring on Stephon Gilmore. We bring on Brandon Cooks. We bring in Mozzie Smith to join in with Jonathan Hankins. I was watching this video before I did this one on film on Hankins, and man, Jonathan Hankins is a nose tackle that can swallow 2 linemen, who can take on a center and a guard, or a guard and a tackle. Now, if you put Mozzie Smith next to him, and if he can do the same, that will stop the run up the middle every time. And we had the run on the edge pretty much sealed up, with Tank Lawrence being a great run-stopping defensive end. Torrance Armstrong, and I think Valimi Fehoko with his size will be also. Like I said, that 2000 Ravens defense was so good because of those 2 nose tackles, Sam Adams and Tony Siragusa. If Mozzie Smith can be that type of nose tackle and swallow up that middle and engage in 2 linemen, and Hankins do the same to where those linemen can't get to the line, to the Wolf Hunter, to Damone Clark, or Donovan Wilson, then our linebackers or safety will meet the running back in that hole every time. And we'll get them into 3rd and longs a lot. And that is where we feast, especially with the corners that we have now. With Gilmore, Lockdown, Diggs, Bland, our NASCAR package is going to be insane. I know Philly's good. I know they got Jordan Davis coming into year 2. He didn't do anything last year. He was out of shape, overweight. This Georgia defense that they have, they get Jalen Carter with like pick 8 or pick 9. He's not going to be better than Javon Hargrave. I know this. I know that Terrell Edmonds isn't going to be better than Chauncey Gunnar-Johnson. Nakobe Dean, who they didn't trust to play last year after he was ready to go, he's not going to be as good as TJ Edwards or Kazir White. Damone Clark, who was ready to go about the same time as Nakobe Dean about halfway through the season. We trusted him to play. He came out, he played very well. And we expect him to come out and possibly be our best linebacker come season end. So, with question marks at safety and at linebacker, that's big for Philly. And what's also big is that Jalen Hurts is now a $50 million a year quarterback. He cannot run the ball 20 times a game. Now, he did not have 20 designed runs a game, but with the design runs and his scrambles, he averaged 20 runs a game. Damn near broke his collarbone towards the end of the season doing that. He cannot keep that up. Well, Miles Sanders gone and him not able to run like he keeps running, or if they keep running him like that, we will see the mustache a lot more than we did last year. And we saw with the mustache, they were not like we were with Rush. We can win with our backup quarterback. They couldn't seem to.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
So,
I got it.
this season, 2023, us saying that we have a very viable shot at Las Vegas is not nonsense, is not ridiculous at all. Yes, it's been 28 years since we've won a divisional round playoff game, but it's not like we've gotten swept off the board every time we've hit the second round. 2014, we were prime in that game. 2016, we were prime in that game. And 2018, it was just a defensive failure as far as run stopping. And last season, injury to Tony Pollard. Even though we had those 2 picks, I believe if Tony Pollard does not go down and he plays the rest of the game, I believe we win that game. Even though Dak threw 2 horrible interceptions. But being that Tony Pollard, who was the second most explosive player last season behind Tyreek Hill, second most explosive player. That's how big he was for our offense. Him going down before halftime, if he doesn't go down, I believe we go to Philly and we actually have a real championship game. That's it for this episode, guys. If you watched it till the end, you're a real one. I love you for it. Please subscribe, like, and share. Hit me to 500. Hit me to 1,000. This season's going to be live. Keep God first and foremost. He comes before everything, even this. Seek Him and His righteousness, and everything else in your life will fall into place. I am living testimony of that. I have seen God's face time in and time out. He has never failed me. He will never leave you nor forsake you. He says that in the Bible. He keeps His promises. He cannot lie. He is a God of love and always will be. Not trying to make this a religious program, but it's my duty to put this out. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Before we close out on this Friday night, guys, on that subscribe button, please, on the count of 3, can we hit it, guys? 1, 2, 3. Subscribe. If you did it, you're a real one. I love you for it. If we can hit that like button, guys, on the count of 3, all together in unison. 1, 2, 3. Like. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. Remember, donating to my channel not only will help it grow and get the bells and whistles, which y'all will love, but also comes with some big prizes. At the end of the season, whoever donated the most will get playoff tickets. 50-yard line, lower deck, maximum 3 persons. Second place, 2 jerseys of your choice. Any player's name. They can even be customized. It don't matter. And number 3 is a 1990 Emmitt Smith Rookie of the Year card. And I could probably get that signed by the end of the year. I'm part of a club called Star Status Houston chapter. It's the 13th chapter in the country. The first one started in Vegas, in Los Angeles. We're the 13th chapter. Jerry Jones knows about us. So if I can get to training camp, I will be right behind the players in the VIP section where the regular public can't get to, and I'll be able to put on some really, really good shows. If y'all can get me to Oxnard. So that's what this is for right now. Number 1 goal is to get to Oxnard, and after that, everything else that I get from donations will be to build the channel. Like I said, microphone, studio equipment, sound bites, film and graphics on a good desktop just for this, so I can break down film for y'all like I was just watching before I did this show. You know, that film breakdown of Jonathan Hankins. So yeah, guys, subscribe, like, and share. We are all brothers and sisters in the same cause. We all bleed blue and green, blue and silver. It's late. I've got a big project to start tomorrow, so we get a little sleepy. We all bleed blue and silver, guys. Subscribe, like, and share. Y'all have a good weekend. Y'all keep safe. Don't do nothing crazy. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. And hopefully on the next time I make a video, we make some kind of big signing. We bring on a Dalton Risner, or we come to terms with Zeke Elliott, or maybe DeAndre Hopkins says, hell, I made enough money, I want to go win a Super Bowl, and he comes and signs off for $2 million. Or same thing with Dalvin Cook. You never know. Until then, guys, keep it cool, calm. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Charles and Charge is out. DC for life.